Welcome to another episode of Small Town Downtown, where we cruise through the main streets of incorporated towns that are smaller than 5,000 and hopefully find some historic areas and some really cool architecture. This is always kind of a breezy little road trip, so we're not going to do a deep dive into these towns, but we'll learn a little bit of the history and when it was founded, why it was named, what it is, and then breeze on through to the next one. We're going to go between the city of San Angelo, Texas, and Dallas, kind of in between that area, and find 10 towns. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to rank them 1 through 10. So keep track as you're going, which is your favorites, and see how we match up. All right, let's hit the road. We are starting in Runnels County, and this is Miles, Texas, population 875. The post office was named Miles Station from 1890 to 1908, and then it was shortened just to Miles in 1908. Named for Jonathan Miles, who donated $5,000 to a fund for an extension of the railroad track to here in Miles. Reportedly, there was a population of over 3,000 around the year 1900 before it became incorporated. A city ordinance was passed in its early days, making it a violation for any lady to walk down the east side of the street because of the number of saloons on that side of the street. As you look at the population figures, the earliest days were the highest in Miles, and like I said, maybe over 3,000 before it was incorporated there. And so 1910 had 1,302, still maintained a pretty good population, went down a little bit, and then has come back up to 875. And staying in Runnels County, this is the county seat, Ballinger, Texas, population 3,619. It's had a post office since 1886, and it was established when the Gulf, Colorado, and Santa Fe Railroad came through town. It was named for William Ballinger. He was an attorney and a stockholder of the railroad. Population figures peaked in 1950 as it went a little bit over 5,000 and has gone down quite a bit, down to 3,619. We have moved over to Coleman County, and this is the county seat of Coleman County, which is named Coleman. Population 3,912. Founded in 1876 when R.J. Clow donated 160 acres for a county seat, and it was named after the county, obviously, which is located on the Western Trail. Coleman County was named after Robert Coleman, a signer of the Texas Declaration of Independence and a soldier at the Battle of San Jacinto. The Santa Fe Railroad built a spur into town in 1886 and helped establish it as a center for trade. The population, similar to the previous county seat of Ballinger, peaked in 1950, this one over 6,500, and has gone down in a similar way, 3,912. That's the lowest it's been since the 1920s. Just a few miles down the road from Coleman, as we stay in Coleman County, is Santa Ana, population 1,014. It's had a post office since 1879, was incorporated in 1906, and it was named for Comanche war chief Santana. The railroad was extended here in 1886. Population figures have been over 1,000 generally, although the 2020 census at 1,014 is the lowest it's been since the early days of the town. We are now in Brown County, Texas, and this is the town of Bangs, population 1,540. It was established in 1886 when the railroad came through, incorporated in 1915, named after Samuel Bangs, who was given this land due to his service as a printer in the Texas Revolution, but reportedly he never actually saw the land. Gone up to Callahan County now, and this is Cross Plains, Texas, population 899. Post office started in 1877. It was previously named Turkey Creek for the nearby creek. The name changed with the post office for the crossings of a stagecoach and military roads prior to the Civil War. The town moved from the west banks of Turkey Creek to the current location in 1911 to be closer to the railroad. They had a slight oil boom in 1925, as you can see the population doubled, and then it has slowly decreased over the years back down to 899. As we move into Eastland County, a lot of these towns are going to be oil booms from the 1920s, so you'll see increases and decreases in population dramatically. This is Cisco, Texas, population 3,883. It was started in the late 1870s. The community was named Red Gap at that time, had a post office from 1878 to 1881. Then two railroads were built near Red Gap, and the locals moved their town to the crossing and started the post office in 1881, named it Cisco after John Cisco, who was responsible for the building of the Houston and Texas Central Railroad. Then you can see the population figures peaked in the 1920s because of that oil boom, all the way up to 7,422, and it's maintained about half of that population today. And this is the county seat of Eastland County, Eastland, population 3,609. The county was named for Captain William Eastland, a member of the Mir Expedition and a Texas Ranger. This town was platted in 1875 and voted as the county seat in the next year, and the post office was established. Railroad came through in 1880. The oil boom hit here in 1917, and so you see the population figures once again go up very dramatically from 855 all the way up to over 9,000, and has been pretty steady since that oil boom was over. From 1940 till now, the population has been relatively unchanged. one more oil boom town in Eastland County. This is Ranger, population 2,300. And it was named after the Texas Rangers, who in the 1870s had a camp about 2 miles from the current town site named Ranger Camp Valley. Post office was established in 1880 when the Texas and Pacific Railroad came through town, and then the people of Ranger Camp Valley moved to the railway and established this town. Same oil boom as previously in 1917. It incorporated in 1919. They estimate there could have been as many as 30,000 people before the first census in 1920, which was 16,000. And you can see how it's gone down quite a bit since then. Our final town is in Palo Pinto County. This is Strawn, Texas, population 540. The area was originally known as North Fork. It was established in 1880 when the railroad came through the area. Strawn was named after Stephen Strawn, who was one of the early town settlers. There were two other communities named Russell's Pocket and Davidson that were nearby that merged to form Strawn. Another town with an oil discovery in the 19-teens, incorporated in 1940. You can see the population went up, not as much as the other towns, but definitely went up and has gone down. This is the lowest recorded population in the census since 1890. What an interesting grouping of towns. There wasn't one town that I would consider below average. I've done several of these videos now, and there's always a town or two that's not great to drive through, but all 10 of these were either good to really, really good. So even the last one on my list is a good town that I think is worth visiting. I'm going to pick 3 different towns, different kinds of towns for my top 3, and I'm going to start at the top with Ballinger. It's one of the bigger towns on the list, and just so many cool old buildings to check out in the downtown area. I'm going to put Ballinger just barely at the top of my list. The second one I'm going to make on my list is Ranger, which is the old, boom town, oil town that had almost 30,000 people, and then it's now down to 2,300. And that's fascinating to me because of how that happened, and there's so many old empty buildings. I know some people watch these videos and pick the towns based on where they would like to live. I pick them based on what's just most interesting. And Ranger was very, very interesting. Makes me want to go back and learn more about what happened to that town. And the third one is a smaller town. It was the first one. It was Miles. And I felt just like per capita, there were a lot of great buildings. There was this awesome opera house right there in the middle of the town. And that was really cool. So that's my top 3. And here's the rest of my list. Like I said, all 10 of them were really good. And it was a lot of fun exploring the middle part of Texas. What was your list? Did you agree or disagree? Texas has a lot of great small towns, and maybe in the future we'll definitely do some more small town downtowns through Texas.